Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Lena. Welcome back to another video. So today I'm bringing you my January wrap-up. January was such a mess. Okay, that's going to be the word of the month, mess, because holy shit, I didn't stick with my TBR. I was in such a weird reading mood. I wanted to read horror, I wanted to read thrillers, I even read middle grade. I don't know what happened. It's just I started up great, but then in the middle of the month everything just went downhill. It was such a mess, like oh my god. I ended up reading 14 books, most of them still adult. Many thrillers, to middle grades. Just a couple of fantasies. I read mostly thrillers this month, which is so weird. It's probably because of my exams and everything else, but it's so weird. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the first book that I read this month and make my way to the last one. So the first one was The Deep by Rivers Solomon, and this is a short novella. And it was really great. Okay, first thing, the story beyond the book was fucking incredible. I was discussing with Angela, this is fantasy or science fiction. I don't know, it's probably a blend between the two of them, because there are many science fiction elements but also a little bit fantastical, so it's weird. It's a weird one, but the story beyond the book about slavery was, I mean, terrible, but fucking greatly integrated here. The ocean is so fucking creepy, you know. That's not really the point of the book, but the ocean is just so creepy. There's kind of a love story here that was a little bit much for me. I wouldn't say that I hated it, because no, but it was still a little bit much for me, so it would have been okay if it wasn't there, but still, it's okay, doesn't matter. The role of the historian that shows in the first pages was such a cool concept. I was blown away by that. I thought it was fucking brilliant. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. We basically follow the descendants that have basically adapted to live in the sea of slaves that were thrown into the ocean in slavery ships. It's just great. I would highly recommend this novel. It's super short. It's not even 200 pages, I think. 160 pages, super easy to read in any given time. Highly recommend this one. I listened to it as an audiobook. Amazing. The only thing that I wasn't just completely sold was the ending. I don't know why, but it didn't quite click with me, but the whole story overall was super great. So again, 4 stars. The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu. It's just such a massive brick, like hello. This was incredible. This was incredible. I cried, I laughed, I was just super invested. Everything clicked into place. Holy shit, the court intrigue in this book was everything. New characters were amazing, some were fucking dumbasses, but it all got pretty well resolved. The ending, holy shit, the ending is just, this book is incredible. Like 100%, the Dandelion Dynasty is just now one of my favorite series of all time. I don't understand how I missed this. It's just I ate this brick in 3 or 4 days. Like, it's 856 pages, you know. Still, it was so good. So good. Holy shit. The first book, well, the whole quartet, it's going to be a quartet, is based on the story of the Han Dynasty. Basically, the first book is more centered around the war with the Qin Dynasty, I think it was the name. But holy shit, meaning this is inspired by real events, and my god, it's just, you know, because thanks to my friend Tammy, I did some research on the true history. I knew some things were going to happen because it's quite faithful to the real story. Still, whew, man, it was so fucking good. I swear, the epilogue of this book, like the ending is just wow. I really don't want to say much because it's the second book and it's just such a good second book. Please read The Grace of Kings. Please read The Grace of Kings. Holy shit. Of course I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Just, I wish I could give it more. But yeah, highly recommend Dandelion Dynasty, you know. Check out this video. It's just so good. Then I read The Library of the Unwritten by A.G. Hockwith, and I was so pleasantly surprised by this. I already knew that I was going to enjoy it, but I had no idea that it was such a fun book and deep sometimes. I don't know why, but I was expecting something more leaning towards not horror, but more like a dark book, you know. But it's really lighthearted in some parts, and that was so cool. The concept of this book is that we have a library on hell where all the unwritten books go. One day, one of them escapes, and the librarian has to go find it. It's just so cool. Concept is amazing. I have already bought the sequel, The Archive of the Forgotten, because I'm super intrigued by one of the characters. This was so fun, like really so fun. If you're hesitating because you're not sure that you're going to love this book, please try it. It's just such a fun ride. The kind of final battle that we had here was so cool. It's actually such a cute story, you know. Now I understand why some of my friends were just, this is just like my comfort read now, and I understand. Also, the hero twist was amazing. You know, I already had my suspicions there, but still so cool. Just again, the romance here was a little bit meh. It was okay, nothing over the top, nothing that bothers me, but it was fine. Nothing else. Please, highly recommend you check out this book. It's also quite short. It's not a long book. It's not even 400 pages. So you can read it anytime, but it's just so cool. Like, please give it a chance. The characters are also amazing. You know, I'm not someone who really gives a fuck about characters, but these ones were so cool. So cool. I'm super intrigued by them, and that's why I'm just jumping into the second one. It's mostly a character-driven book more than plot, but still super fun. I gave it 4 stars. I cannot wait to jump to the sequel. Then I read I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison, and this short story was fucking scary, you know. I read this one and a couple of more of the other short stories, but the ones were pretty meh. This was the kind of the only one that was just like, damn, this is scary as hell. It's a really short story, horror, science fiction about an AI that has 4 humans as prisoners, torturing them. It's really messed up. Like, there are some things there. The narrator is pretty unreliable, to call it something. It's just it's weird. I don't want to say it too much because I don't know, it has like 60 pages or something like that. It's really short, but it was pretty terrifying, like pretty terrifying. The ending was pretty mind-blowing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Careful going into this one because it's pretty dark, but again, I won't tell you much because it's really short, but 4 stars. Then things went downhill from here so bad. I read The Splintered Silence by Kayla Olson. Since this moment, I was just like, I really want to read sci-fi horror. Like, I want sci-fi horror right now. And this was categorized as that. I knew that it was YA, so I was just like mentally preparing myself for some tropes. But I didn't prepare myself enough. It was just such a boring book. From a YA book, that's saying something because they are usually really fast-paced, but it was so fucking boring. So basically we follow this girl. They are all in a spaceship, and basically a couple of years ago a plague came in and killed almost every adult. So now she is in charge, and a new wave of the kind of virus has apparently emerged, and she has to deal with that. You know, having a deadly plague spread on your fucking spaceship should be something important to think about, you know? Instead of the guy who kisses you at the beginning of the novel. Right? Well, apparently for our main character, it really wasn't. You know, I get it, it's a stressful situation, you want to focus on other things, but you know, she just continuously thinking about it, and it made me so fucking mad. And you know, the ending was extremely predictable. You know, I usually don't judge YA books so hard because they are usually like a mindless read for me, like a fun read. But this was terrible. Well, it wasn't terrible, but it was good. Like, it was good. The best part was definitely MC trying to fight expectations, because everyone just like, oh, you have to help us, you have to help us. You know, that was good enough. She's watching her struggle, that was like a breath of fresh air, but that's it. That's everything. I give this one 2 stars. It was such a disappointment. It never met my expectations. It was extremely predictable, filled with tropes. I just want to forget about this book. Then I read Neverworld Wake by Marissa Peschel. I have already read another book by her, Night Film, which is the widely loved book, but I didn't love it. I gave it 3 stars. I still need to read that and see if my like kind of taste has changed, or maybe that it wasn't the best time to read the book. But still, I was pretty interested in this book when it first came out. You know, bunch of teenagers stuck in this kind of world that is repeating itself over and over again, and they won't go out until they just decide who is going to survive, basically. And I love that type of premise. I am someone who loves when a group of humans is just forced to make a decision, like in the film The Circle. I don't know, it's just, I love that. It's just my kind of trope. So I was really invested already in this book. And you know what? It didn't disappoint, but it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. You know, I thought that it was going to be more just like them arguing with each other, but apparently in the Neverworld Wake, you can literally move to everywhere. I thought that we were going to be stuck in this house, but no, they can actually just travel anywhere in time. And that was, for my taste, it gave them too much freedom. Still, I thought the ending was nice enough. I did enjoy more the portion previous to the ending than the ending itself. Mystery Theaters always is just hit or miss with the ending. And this one, it didn't disappoint me, but it wasn't great either. You know, I kind of saw it coming a little bit. Not everything, not every part of it, but a little bit. I did really like that it went straight into the whole plot and the action in the first pages. Like, it didn't drag at all. That was something really nice. But yeah, overall, I give it 4 stars. It's a nice read. Overall, nice book. It didn't give me much, but still, it entertained me enough. Did you read a super cool book? I read Small Spaces by Catherine Arden, the author of The Bird and the Nightingale. And again, I had my eye on this book for a long time already. You know what? I was just in such a weird mode. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to read it, and that's it. I listened to it as an audiobook, and it was so cool. I read it in a day. It's a middle grade. I mean, it's a fast read, but still, it was so good. The Halloween vibe was everything. Like, so cool. We basically follow our main character, and she's just coming back home when she meets with this woman. She's about to throw a book into the river, and she's just like, you know what, I'll take the book, it's fine. In the book we have a strange story about a family with murder and with their villain, the Smiley Man. Was that his name? He's a guy that smiles, basically, a lot. And it was so cute and so cool and so creepy for being a middle grade. I have to say that I don't have a problem listening to horror books, but sometimes, you know, I'm just about to fall asleep and then something creepy happens and I'm fucked, you know, and I'm like, okay, I need to change the audiobook. But still, it was so creepy. There are a lot of scarecrows because it takes place on the first in a farm. It was so cool. So cool. I liked it so much that I gave it 4 stars, and then I read the sequel. And sadly, Dead Spaces wasn't as good as the first one. Still, I enjoyed the hell out of it. Dead Spaces has ghosts, and it's not something that I really enjoy in books. I don't know why, but ghost is just so meh for me. I did really like the fact that it takes place on a resort and they are just the only ones there. There's a snowstorm, they cannot get out, you know, again, my thing, my trope. I love that. But Ghost, pretty meh. I do really want to read the third one though, because from what I remember, it's on a lake kind of vacation. I'm super excited for that. I think that it's going to be even creepier, like Friday the 13th, something like that. But you know, middle grade. So I'm super excited. Sadly, I gave Dead Voices like 3.5. It wasn't as good as the first one, but I will 100% continue with the series. It's just so cool. Characters are so cute and so nice. We also got like a different point of view here. For one of the friends, it's a trio of friends, and I didn't like it as much as the original point of view. But we'll see. We will maybe have the other one in the next book. We'll see. But again, thoroughly enjoyed them. If you want a creepy read, please try both of these books. They are fucking great. So then, even though I had already started it, I finished Hell on Mars. And let me tell you something. Again, I was really into that sci-fi horror mood. And you know, this is literally that. It's about a scientific station on Mars. There's a portal and fucking kind of, not zombies, but creatures come out of it. And then they kind of turn into zombies. It's just weird. But you know, it literally was what I was wondering, you know. But you see, it started off quite great. These are also super short. This series, they're mostly novellas. I don't think it even has like 200 pages. So, you know, when the action really started, the book ended. And I hated the reveal at the end of the book. Because you know what? I'm fucking European and I'm so fucking bored of Nazis being the plot twist of a book. I'm sorry if I'm fucking your expectations or spoiling you right now, but it's really not a spoiler, you know. There's a dude that's forced to stay in this station, making research, and he has a German name. And it's pretty fucking obvious because it's kind of a alternative history type of book, because they are kind of still in the Cold War. So, you know, you easily imagine this throughout the book. And that was the reveal at the end. And I was just like, really? It was pretty bad. If I'm being honest, I ended up giving this one 3 stars. It was okay. The monsters were kind of scary, so I appreciated that. Also, the scenes where they were chased, they were also super cool. So yeah, the beginning of the book was scary enough for me to like it. But yeah, the ending was just meh. And it ended so abruptly. Like, yeah, boom, next book. It was just pretty meh. Pretty meh. I'm a little bit disappointed with this one. I don't really think that I will continue with the series because I don't really want to read more books about Nazis, you know. I'm well served already. Like, no. Because I was in such a weird mood, I decided to read a favorite of mine. And I went for Metro 2033 by Dmitry Glukovsky. I love this book with all my fucking heart. I just added it on one of my non-SFF favorites video because I love this book. You cannot imagine how much I love this book. I read it for the first time almost 10 years ago, and I already love it by that time, but I love it more even now. It's just so good. So good. We are basically set on a post-apocalyptic Russia. Everyone took refuge when the bombs fell in the metro, and each station is kind of a independent country, if we call it that. They have their own laws. We have the police at the center that is kind of the star of humanity, you know, like, yeah, they are actually civilized and nice. And then we have the tunnels, and each tunnel is kind of alive in its own way. We have mutant things in the surface. We have tunnels that's whispered to you. We have tunnels that the darkness, it swallows people. There's also a lot of psychological horror in this book, because sometimes you don't know if anything is actually happening, because Artyom will find someone and they will tell him like, there's literally nothing there, my friend. So there's always that question. He actually asked himself that question a lot. and it's just so cool, so cool. We basically have to follow Artyom. He's set on a mission by Hunter, who is a stalker, meaning a guy who goes for resources in the surface. In Artyom's station, they are having a problem with the Dark Ones, and Hunter tells him that if he doesn't come back, he basically has to go to police and give this message to them so they can send help. Hunter never comes back, so Artyom goes in his way, and it's just so cool. We also have Nazis here, but it's okay. It makes sense. We also have communists. We have a little bit of everything. It's just fantastic. This book is great. Again, I gave it 5 stars. I mean, it's one of my favorite books. I couldn't give it less. I enjoyed the hell out of reading this book. It's the first time that I read it in English, by the way, and I listened to it as an audiobook, and it was pretty weird. Holy shit, I've been talking for so long. I really need to speed things up. Then I read the Hexarchate Stories by Yoon-Ha Lee, with Angela from Literature Heights Alliance and Kayla from Crack Into a Good Book. This is a collection of short stories set on the world of Nine Fox Gambit. And let me tell you something, they are so fanfiction-y. They were so fun, so cool. There are even poems here. The only story that would, not worth it, but has like a connection with everything is the last one, the last canon, which takes most part of the book. And it's kind of an alternative ending to the series. It was so fun, so fun. I don't want to spoil too much. It's better if you finish the series and then read this. Some are writing exercises from Yoon-Ha Lee, writing from other points of view, and it was so fun. The author's notes are hilarious. Hilarious. I'm in love with this guy. Like, Yoon-Ha Lee is fucking amazing. But yeah, overall, I give this one 4 stars. I do think that the most important one is Class Canon. It's probably my favorite, along with Gamer's End, which is probably a Nick 2 Ender's game, probably. But again, highly recommend if you have read the whole Nine Fox Gambit trilogy. If you don't want to read them, it's not mandatory. You know, you will be good without reading them, but they were so fun. The last physical book that I have here, Malazan, Book of the Fallen, #1, The Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson. 4th time reading this. I feel like I already know this story so badly. Like, I can tell you anything about it already because, you know, 4th time reading the same fucking book. I'm fine. I'm fine. I think I haven't forgotten a thing. So I'm going to jump into the next one. I will probably do it next month, not this month, but still great. The world in Malazan is gigantic. I cannot even begin to explain to you how big it is, and this book is even bigger. You know, like, there's so many things going on here, so many characters, so many factions, so many magic systems. It's weird. It's a weird series, and it's not like the book is hard to read. It's not like that, but you need to assimilate a lot of information in just like in the moment, because it throws you into the world. It will never bother to explain you anything. You better make your own way and try to understand. So that's why it's so hard to get into, because you're thrown in the middle of the war and you're just like, what the hell? And then you jump after the war and you're just like, what? So it's hard. Again, I gave it 4 stars. I have always given it 4 stars. Like, yeah. I still think that it's going to be a super good series, but again, it takes so much brain power for me that it's exhausting. I will probably read the next one on March. Now let's talk like really fast about the thrillers that I read. The first one that I read was The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. I love this book. This was so good. Such a good thriller. This is kind of a more domestic thriller, but it was so good. We basically follow these 2 people, and one of them is just taking a drink on the airport. The other one comes in and they just start talking basically, and the guy's just like, my wife is cheating on me and I kind of wish I could kill her. And the girl is just like, you know what, I'll help you. She sounds like a bitch. And they start basically planning on how to kill the guy's wife, and it's just so cool. There are so many twists. I love the open ending. It was just like perfect open ending. Like, it's not open enough that it doesn't make sense, but it's open enough that it just like, holy shit, everything's going to be so messed up. But so good. I don't really want to spoil anything to you because I think this book is better going on blind. It was so good, really, so good. If you have never read this one, I will highly recommend that you do. It's one of the most solid thrillers I have ever read. in my life. I gave it 4.5 stars. Fantastic. Fantastic. I love following the main character. I'm not going to say who the main character is because there's a lot going on, but man, this was so good. Then I read I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. What the hell was this? I don't know, but I gave it 5 stars. I love weird books, you know, I love weird books, you know this already, but this book didn't make any fucking sense. Like, the ending, what was that? I don't know. But it kept me engaged for 2 days straight until I finished it. You know, I was in the middle of my exam week and I was stopping studying just so I can listen a little bit more to the fucking audiobook. Like, I was so intrigued. There's a lot of monologue here. And it's just so interesting. There's just so many weird points. And you know, it's so creepy also. The part with the parents is so creepy. I also watched the adaptation on Netflix. What happened with the adaptation? You know, the book doesn't make any sense, but the film doesn't even make the same sense as the book. I watched the movie thinking like, you know, maybe there's a little bit of an explanation here, you know. Usually movies tend to explain the book a little bit better. No. I understood less with the movie than with the book, which doesn't make any sense. There's even like a dance number. It was so weird. I don't really recommend the movie. Read the book. Like, definitely read the book. It was so weird. Give it 5 stars. You know what? 5 stars. It kept me so engaged. Like, oh man. And it's just such a short book too. I really want to get a physical copy of it because I think it's going to be a book that's going to be stuck in my mind for a while. And if I tell you the truth, the premise is that this couple are going to his parents' house so she can meet her parents. That's the premise. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's just so weird. Then I read The Guest List by Lucy Foley. And again, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I didn't thought that it was brilliant, but I really enjoyed it. It didn't keep me as engaged as The Kind of Killing or I'm Thinking of Ending Things, but still super solid. I gave it 4 stars. It's basically about this great wedding that is going to happen in this island, in this kind of private island. And we move back and forwards between the wedding night and the previous days. I told you that I read 14 books, but I read 16 books. I'm dumb. Like, I don't even know how to count. But what I was saying, we go back and forwards between the wedding night and the 2 previous days when the guests start arriving, like the close friends and the close guests. And it's really nice. We follow different points of view. We have the groom, we have the soon-to-be wife, we have the sister of the wife. Who else do we have? We have one of the plus ones, Hannah. We have the best man. I think I will have one, and we have the planner. And it was really smartly constructed. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like the best story that I have ever read, but the ending was good enough. I did manage to connect the dots with one of the stories before it had the twist. But 2 of the other ones I didn't saw coming. So, nice. Again, I gave this one, I think it was 4 stars, right? Did I say 4 stars? Yeah, 4 stars. Then the 16th book that I read was One by One by Ruth Ware, and I was really disappointed on this one. I loved Ruth Ware's The Turn of the Key. My favorite by her. It was so good. The ending is fantastic. Then I read The Death of Mr. Westaway, and I was pretty underwhelmed. It was just like okay, like an okay book. And this was the same. Again, this is going to sound so familiar. We follow a group of people that are stuck in this resort in a snowstorm. Yeah. The thing is, before the storm starts, one of the guests is already missing. So everyone is just like already concerned from the beginning, and we basically follow 2 point of views. One is the owner of the resort, and the other one is one of the workers in this group that is spending the nights in the resort. It was fine, like super predictable in my opinion. It felt like even though it was a fucking snowstorm, everyone could move around the fucking resort with no problems, in and out. Like, it didn't even become like a problem until the last part of the book. I don't know, I was expecting more of the twist, if I'm being honest. Like, it was like super, not predictable, but super just like underwhelming. Like, yeah, okay, I guess. Super meh. In comparison with all the other thrillers that I read, it was the weakest by far. My favorite of the 4 was definitely I'm Thinking of Ending Things and The Kind Worth Killing. Both for very different reasons. But still, they were pretty good. I'm also thinking about finish listening to No Exit, which I recently bought, and I'm kind of 20% in. I'm thinking I might finish it, but I'm also in the middle of 2 books, Lord of Secrets by Brianna Sanse, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. The humor is on point for me, and I'm also in the middle of the Bone Ships. And if I'm being honest, I think I'm going to DNF it, because nothing has happened and I'm already almost in page 200. Really, I'm not feeling it. I think that I might let it to rest for a bit, and then when I'm just like feeling it, I might come back. But for now, it's definitely a no, and I'm so sad. But yeah, 16 books. I'm just like, I really cannot count, like, no. But yeah, have you read any of this? Have you seen how little physical books have I read? Like, it was such a mess of a one. But please, if you have, I'm pretty sure that some of you have read I'm Thinking of Ending Things and didn't understand a fucking thing like me. If you want to explain the ending to me, I will be so into that. Please. But yeah, that's going to be all for today. So as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.